stare at the blank screen and you're like, I got to do this. But ChatGPT came along, and that's just like, it's been such a godsend in this regard.
Okay, so I have a thought. I feel like I feel like our episode should be sponsored by ChatGPT, by
Yeah,
OpenAI,
OpenAI,
because
give us some money. Yeah,
that's all we talk about is
yeah.
ChatGPT. Um, uh, but okay, so I've been using ChatGPT a lot since it came out, and so I feel like I now have a good sense of when something is written by ChatGPT, unless
Hmm.
someone does. You can do really clever things to make it not look like that. But just
Yes.
the default output of ChatGPT, like I know that guy's personality, and so when I see stuff, I'm like, clearly ChatGPT, and I feel like now I have this response. That when I start reading something clearly written by ChatGPT, my eyes just glaze over. I'm like,
Righto, righto. Yeah.
and I was at the start of this year, I was on a grant committee, and as part of this committee, I had to read 40 research proposals, like really quite long ones. Well, the research bit itself was only 5 pages, but then the whole grant proposal was really quite long.
Right.
So I read like 40 of these proposals from across Canada about what people were going to do in their research,
Oh my
and
gosh.
and I kind of had two thoughts on this. One was that I was surprised that out of those 40 that I read, only one of them was clearly written by ChatGPT.
Interesting.
So that
Hmm.
was like, oh, I would have expected more people to have written them. But the other thing I was surprised was how much more difficult it was to read things that were written by people who weren't good at writing. And so I kind of, half of me was like, I wish that this was just written by ChatGPT so that it was clear and concise and structured
Yeah.
properly, and I could read it. But on the other hand, I was like, if I had to read 40 things written in the same voice, I would be incredibly
Yeah.
bored. But it
It
was
would just
very
drive you
interesting
nuts. Yeah.
seeing this huge
Hmm.
variety of writing styles, which you don't really get exposed to on the internet, because I feel like on the internet, everything is converging to very similar
Yeah.
writing styles. So that was
That's
interesting.
absolutely true. Yeah. I mean, that experience of reading the 40 grant proposals. Okay, I get overwhelmed with just three or four.
I think I regained the stamina to read technical documents, which I think I had lost
Yeah.
over the last couple of years. So
Yeah.
that
I
was good,
definitively
and the
lost the
confidence
stamina.
to
Yeah.
read things,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Hmm.
so that was good.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting that you say the word confidence. I even lost the confidence to read stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and when you lose that confidence, you kind of get this anxiety when you're starting to
Hmm.
read something. You're like, oh my god, I can't do it, I can't do it, and yeah,
Interesting.
now
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, and I
Well, there
guess
just
you go.
many
That's
to give some context
um,
for the listeners, I mean, I'm not going to go into too much details in this, but I had some serious, I mean, as you know, Tobias, I had some serious health
mhm.
issues a few years ago. And so there was like a year that I was just not like doing anything. And so it's in that time that I just lost my ability to
Right.
do a lot of stuff. So it wasn't, I mean, I definitely was doing less technical work at IBM as well, in the later part, where it was more, program management, project management stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it was mostly the being sick that
Yeah. Yeah.
made
It's
me.
killer.
And I would say even now it's been a couple of years, but it took quite a toll. And yeah, my brain is certainly not at the level that it was beforehand. Um,
Right.
I think the peak capacity, like I can do everything I could do before. It just takes a lot longer to do it. So
Right.
yeah, that's kind of rough.
Well, I don't know. You might be doing more than before because you're doing multiple things in parallel. It's
Yeah,
difficult to.
but yeah, I feel like before I was doing my job and all those things in parallel
Ah,
too.
okay. Well,
So
you
now I
know,
got rid of the job and now I'm just doing the things. Yeah.
yeah, it's going to happen. You don't have to be sick. Like things can happen
Mm.
where in a career where you just drop out of the game, and
Mm.
even like 6 months, and then you getting back in is really tough. So what happened here is it won't sound like this was a bad thing. So Germany, about 4 years ago, Germany invested several billions of euros in quantum computing,
Mhm.
and I thought, well, I'm one of the few people who's got a PhD in quantum computing. Maybe it's sort of morally my duty to apply for some of this money so it can be spent properly. If you know, maybe I shouldn't say anything more than that. And And as part of this process, I got to interact with lots of companies for the first time in my life. As an ivory tower academic, I'd never talked to anyone from a company, and it was a fascinating experience, and I learned a lot. And it was fun at times. It involved lots of phone calls and negotiating with people and understanding workloads and writing contracts, and also legal contract work with lawyers. A whole month deleted just talking to lawyers. Uh, and then at the end of it, about a year had passed. We were lucky. We got some of our grant applications were successful, and the ball, things had started rolling again. But I'd lost a year, more or less a
Mhm.
year to
Mhm,
to,
mhm,
to
mhm,
just this kind of legwork, running around. Because I ended up being a coordinator for one of these proposals, so you have to run around even more.
mhm.
And uh, and then after a year, it was so shocking. This feeling of being completely out of the game. I hadn't done any research. Hadn't really. My mind was
Yeah.
absolutely elsewhere for a whole year, and it takes a long time to get over this.
It's really hard. It's really
Yeah,
hard.
and I mean, when you stop having the joy of finding things out, then you know something's wrong, right?